Hello Pioneers, in the last episode of our MEGAFACTORY build series, we built a campus-style factory to process all our steel into iron plates, rods, steel beams, and pipes. This episode, we tackle a crucial resource, packaged fuel. The best alternate recipes require a mix of refineries, packages, and assemblers, so we designed a bespoke multi-level factory to handle it all efficiently. Will this complex build be enough to fuel our growing city? Let's find out. With our steel campus set up, now it's time to shift focus to transporting the materials around our base. Now we've got our steel pipes over here and we need to bring them all the way to the other side of our factory over there to make sand fluctuators is our first test case, right? And of course we can just use our subfloor and bring a really long belt over. But hey, one of my viewers suggested, why don't we use tractors and bring a little life to our factories to have some tractors rolling around these roads. We have set up roads all over our factory, so I don't see why not. Now, to get these tractors actually rolling, it's going to be a little bit difficult because we need to, first of all, set up the road, and second of all, set up some sort of fuel, all right? Actually, we should probably set up the fuel first, which is going to be the focus of this episode. Let's have a look at what kind of fuel we want to use. Now, in terms of transportation, tractors I never really thought about using tractors because I always thought the trucks would run into each other and stuff like that, and they probably will, but I guess that's not really a big problem. If you don't know, once you've recorded the truck's path or the tractor's path, if it does run off the path for whatever reason, it will just snap back to one of the nodes on the path. So, hey, it'll be pretty fun to watch all the tractors crash into one another once we have a bunch of them running on our roads, I guess. But I'm going to put down a truck station. My original plan was to use drone ports, right? But either way, whether we're going to use drones or trucks, we're going to need some sort of fuel. Now, this doesn't tell me what fuel it uses. This does tell me what fuel it uses. That's weird. Okay, so we can use any of these fuels. Obviously, we're not going to be using this fuel. Ionized fuel is a bit hard to make. So we can use regular fuel or batteries. I don't think the trucks can run off batteries though. And so our real options are probably between turbo fuel, and rocket fuel. Let's see which one is the easiest to make. Now it doesn't tell me the consumption rate, does it? Yeah, well, without a trip cost, it doesn't really tell me. So this thing doesn't tell me any information about how much fuel it consumes, but that's fine as well. So let's look up our recipes for our fuels. Starting with packaged fuel, we can make packaged fuel using this diluted packaged fuel recipe, which is fantastic because all we have to do is make heavy oil residue and then use the heavy oil residue, mix it with water to make packaged fuel, which great. That makes a lot of packaged fuel. Now, packaged turbo fuel, there is unfortunately no way to make except for just packaging turbo fuel. In terms of the turbo fuel recipes, we have a couple of alternates. We can turn diluted fuel with compacted coal into turbo fuel, which is all fantastic and all. What's this last recipe for turbo fuel? Let me just quickly look it up. It's just this super complicated blend of turbo fuel. But either way, turbo fuel is a bit annoying because it requires sulfur and compacted coal. And of course, we can use the same recipe to make rocket fuel, but packaging rocket fuel is a little bit annoying. Is there packaged rocket fuel somewhere? So there's no way to directly make packaged rocket fuel, you just have to package it. So to make packaged rocket fuel, the best recipe is probably this fuel nitrogen recipe. That way you skip the turbo fuel step in it. But again, this is really complicated to make for fuel. So given the complexities, I think we're just going to go with regular packaged fuel. The good thing about this is it already comes out packaged. Well, we do need to make the packages, the empty canisters, because we need to package the water. But we can make heavy oil residue directly. So let's go ahead and figure out a recipe to do this. So as luck would have it, there just happens to be two normal nodes and a pure node directly under us. Now I want to save, yeah, it's like directly under my factory. Now I want to save my pure node for making plastic and rubber, right? I don't think I want to tap into that one. I think this is the pure node. One of these is the pure node. But on a normal node, we can probably use one of these to make all the fuel that we need for our base. And then if we need more, then so be it. We'll just figure out how to get more in. But since this is directly under our base, it makes it very easy to sort of just pump it up and get it going. Now, given the fuel is on this side of the world, do we want to do it on this side of the world? I suppose. We could build our fuel station over here, I guess. Our fuel station needs to be, I suppose, reasonably central to everything because the fuel needs to go all over the base, right? In fact, there'll probably be a massive fuel track in the subfloor that just wraps around our entire base, and then we can just peel off that fuel track wherever we need to get fuel. So I suppose it doesn't matter where we start the fuel. I mean, we could just do it here, I guess, next to the water station. That seems like a reasonable place to do fuel. That's fine. Now that we've figured out how much crude oil we have to play with, let's work out the numbers to see how much fuel we can produce. So I've been doing some maths and it actually turns out pretty interesting. So this is obviously the best recipe to make our packaged fuel. Getting, you know, half a Mark 6 belt of packaged fuel out per minute is quite a lot and should keep our various tractors and drones fueled for a really long time. But to make the packaging material for it is actually the challenge out of all this. So the process goes 10 refineries, well, we don't actually need 10, but let's just say 10 for simplicity, can turn the 300 crude oil into 400 residue. We only need 300 residue. So these 10 packages can turn 300 residue and 600 packaged water into the 600 packaged fuel that we need. Fantastic. The water isn't a problem because we can just get 10 packages to turn the water plus empty canisters into packaged water. That will supply the water, and then we've got the residue and the water to make our packaged fuel. Great. But the problem here comes with the empty canisters. To make 600 empty canisters per minute, we actually need 300 plastic. That's the default recipe. There's a steel version of that recipe that's going to require 600 steel instead, which is a lot of steel to make empty canisters, right? Then finally, I think our very last recipe, which we don't actually have, is probably the best one. It turns iron plate and copper sheet into empty canisters, and it doesn't require that much iron plate or copper sheet, and we have an abundance of iron plate and copper sheet. So I think that's the recipe that we're going to go with. I need to research it in my man, but that's not going to stop us from doing it. So I'm just going to write it in. It's 10 assemblers, and the 10 assemblers can turn, I think, 300 iron sheet plus 150 copper sheet, iron plate, into 600 empty canisters. So this is the build that we're going for. And given that we need iron plate, copper sheet, and crude oil as an input, let's go see where now the best place to build this factory is. Do we not build a lovely steamed copper sheets thing somewhere that produces a stupid amount of copper sheets? I believe we did. Over here, we're producing 1200 copper sheets. Our campus is over here. We can very easily transport the oil to this side. And given our copper sheets is right here and our iron plate is there, I believe now it turns this place into the best place to build our new factory. Because it's easier to transport one pipe of crude oil across here. And, well, water. We don't have to get the water source that we have over there. We can just build water extractors over here. Oh, crap. I'm getting shot at. Yeah, we should be able to build water extractors right down here without any issue. So that shouldn't be an issue. All right, let's get started then. We have a plan. Let's execute upon it. Now, the only thing I am questioning is where should we end our block? Because if we make this entire thing a block, it's a little bit large. Should we put a road here to end at our campus? But then that's a little bit small because our campus ends over here with the train block. All right, we'll just end the block over there somewhere then. That's fine. So we'll build our factory right here. Let's put down some flooring to start with. Give these trees a bit of a chop. Can leave this one. Nice decoration. It's not in anyone's way. Now we've got a nice clearing to work with and we can figure out a build for this. Now the build is once again something crazy. So it's a bunch of 10 machines. So let's sketch it out with 10 refineries first. I guess it makes sense to go like this. So let's see what 10 refineries looks like. I have a recipe for refineries, don't I? There's 8 refineries, but we might not want to build our refineries like this. We might want to do just a road, I think, given the style of this build. So we might just go for a manual build. Let me sketch out where the corner is going to be because the corner is important. So we give 2 tiles of space in between and our wall starts here. Now I think I want our refineries to be here. So let's put down, let's just mark it out how wide it has to go. I think 10 assemblers is wider than refineries. So I think we should probably mark for assemblers, but let's just get refineries down. Let's see what assemblers looks like next to the refineries. They're roughly the same width. Actually, assemblers are long, not wide. All right, cool. So the assemblers are roughly the same width as the refineries, which is fantastic. Let's give a little bit of room. Oh. Let's give a little bit of room on this side for, you know, walls and such. Is that like 1 tile of room? Could probably do another bit of room over on this side. So that's our assemblers. We also have to look at our packages in case they are some weird size. But no, I think our packages are okay as well. So that's actually fine. All right, let's figure out what our factory might look like. So this is basically how wide it's going to be. If I make the wall lined up to the back of this campus, it makes a lot of sense, I think. So that's the edge of this campus, which is here. It's actually perfect. So I'm gonna put a wall there to say that's the end of my factory, which means I'm gonna need some more flooring here. Now I'm going to do something pretty interesting with this factory. It's going to have a very unique shape. Because these are tall, I'm thinking, you know, all of our factories are always built on a singular level. As in, like, I would just put 10 machines here, 10 machines here, 10 machines here, 10 machines here. What if we were to put our refineries in the middle like this, and then create our bottom floor of our factory in a V shape? Would that look cool? Let's give that a go. Alright, so here's what I'm thinking, and tell me if this design is absolutely crazy. If we zoom up this, say, 3 levels? 3, 4, 5, 6 levels. 5 levels. Alright, so this is now 6 floors high, right? We'll do things in lots of 3. And this could be insane and terrible, so just bear with me. But hey, we've got to try new things, right? Maybe that's a little bit too high. Screw it. Let's just do a grand build. How much room do I need for my assemblers? Let me figure out the center line here. So 18 tiles. That means 9 tiles each side is the center line. That is the center line. I'm just going to delete something to mark out that as my center line. Now I need 5 assemblers on each side. 3 tiles is massive for an assembler. All right, that's sweet. But we probably want 1 row for the wall. So let's build out another one. Because we still need a wall here, right? So the assembler would go here, and we'd have the output hanging down this way, right? So say let's put our 10 assemblers in here along the center line. And we're just going to do this build fully manually because it's not going to need to ever be expanded. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's too many. So there's our 10 assemblers, and they should be making the package stuff. Where's my man? I'm now zerging for this recipe, by the way, while I'm doing all this. Bio coal, cloudy diamonds. No, I don't need any of these 2 things. Well, I do need the steel screws at one point, maybe. But let's have a look at what else we need. Don't need any of these. So if I just keep scanning, maybe it'll give it to me in the next 30 minutes while I build this. But this is going to be making the whatever canisters, right? So we've got the 2 inputs and whatnot there. And then they're going to look like that. Now my factory needs to tilt downwards to the next bit. Oh man, is this going to look nice or is this going to look horrible? I'm starting to have a hard time envisioning what this is going to look like, but let's just keep rolling with it. If it looks horrible, I'm just going to tear it all down and it'll just be entertainment value for you guys. Get the double ramps going down this way. Why is this in a weird... So then it would basically be some sort of diagonal wall up this way. Up and then slanting down. Okay, I think I've gone too high then in that case, because I only need 1 of these to split this apart, or maybe 2 levels. No, that's too much. Then the factory is just too big for no reason. All right, let me shift all this down a couple of levels and we'll see from there. Maybe we should just sketch out a smaller version of this factory, the full factory. That way I can sort of envision what I'm trying to do. Trying to figure out the center point first. So yeah, it's 18, so it's 9 in. That's my center point. It's going to mark it somewhere. So the concept is the refineries are going to go on the ground floor, right? they're going to take in the crude oil and they're going to be making the residue. Then from the ground floor, we need to sort of go upwards. Okay, now I know where my center point is. Now, if we were to build our regular walls, say here, and then we double ramp it upwards, we'll say we'll give it 2 tiles of double ramp, or maybe just 1 tile of double ramp. And then it goes flat, and then say 2 rows of flat. Now we need our packager. That's just input output. So say like here, and they can just hang off the edge of a tile with like nothing, I guess. And then we go up again. Is this a cool style of a factory? And then we do our assemblers here. Like, what's the user experience when you're walking in here? There's just factories on top of wall sections and nothing underneath. Do you walk underneath this section, or is this closed off? I guess this is just closed off because it's like outside the factory now, right? All right, we'll have to figure it out. So then assemblers would fit in here, something like that. And they would go on 2 tiles like that. And now I have an extra tile for wall. So maybe we can do this out a bit more. Like that. And then the assemblers can go up here. And then we've hit the edge of the actual outside wall. I think that works as a profile for a building. It kind of goes upwards. And then this part goes flat, and then we mirror it on the other side. Oh man, this is going to be such an interesting and challenging build, but I think it'll look very cool when it's done. Let me trace this out a bit more. This is going to either be awesome or a complete disaster. So let's build out our 10 refineries. So 5 more on this side. And there is a 1 tile space here, isn't there? Sorry, that's too many. 5 more on this side. Let's extend that out to the main wall area. And we'll extend this out to the main wall area as well. Now let's get these packages in, and they don't need to be like right on the edge anymore. Start one here. They don't need to line up with the inputs of this because the outputs of the packager doesn't go into this. I'm just going to line it up to the center point here. Then we'll put it somewhere like this. There's our packages. Let's bring this wall out as well to where the wall's going to be. And let's bring this out as well. Now let's put in our 10 assemblers. They're going to be here. Now the assemblers are going to be kind of going into the packages, right? Oh, then we can space it out a little bit more actually. So I'll put 1 here and 1 here. That's not really centered, is it? Assemblers don't center very well. Let's just put them like this then. Then we should actually line up these packages to the assemblers, because this thing is responsible for packaging water, right? So the input should line up like this. So these are responsible for making packaged water, which requires the empty canisters, which is going to come directly into here. And that's going to be the profile of our building. So let's get the ramps back in to see how that might look. Get a double ramp going up here, and then a double ramp going up here. Now in theory, this should just be all sealed off, I think. And so should this. And that's going to be the shape of our building. In that case, we probably need more room for the refineries. So we're going to have to shift the refineries out a little bit. I think this looks nice. What do we think of this? Should this be like a flat edge, or should it just... we'll leave it as a flat edge. So this is our center line for our refineries. We'll leave 1 tile of space for doing stuff. Give it plenty of room. That looks kind of cool. Now similarly on this side, we want to leave a tile of space here, because we need to build a similar thing going this way. Like that. Oh man, what am I getting myself into, guys? What am I getting myself into here with this design? Could just go for a simple box, but no, I have to do this like really complicated, crazy thing. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself, but I'm hoping it'll pay off by being an interesting building. So we need 2 over here as well for the packages on this side. The packages on this side, I've already forgotten what they're going to be doing. I think they're making the final packaged fuel. So there's no point lining the pipe up to this, because see this incline, it's going to be piping the liquid up. So if I direct pipe the liquid here, it's going to be needing pumps on every single one, which I'm not going to do that. So we don't need to line this up to anything, is what I'm saying. So we just put in packages over here on the center line. And the input can come in from this side, I suppose. And the output can go out here. I might just do it here to give plenty of room to do input-output stuff. And any other logistical challenges that we come up with at this point, we'll just have to figure out how to fix it. Because we're committed to this now. And there's our building profile done. Right? This is what it's going to look like. Do we like this? It's certainly more interesting than a box. We'll add some more things for the outside over this side. And now we need to figure out how the roof is going to go with this. So let's just start on this corner, I guess, is as good as any. And we'll get it going up. Now, how tall does this need to be? Let's have a look. The roof is mostly just going to end up being flat, isn't it? That's too short. Need to go up one more. And then we can cut it across here. And where it goes to here, we can get it going up maybe. I think that's a good height for these. Yep, that's fine. But here, obviously, oh, you know, they turn out to be roughly the same height. Let me see if I actually need it to go up. I just want to test over here. That's a bit cutting it close. Oh, it's actually all right, I think. There's going to be a flat roof up to here, and then these chimney stacks can stick out the way we normally like to do this sort of stuff. And it's all basically a flat roof then. So the interesting part of this building is going to be the fact that it sticks out from below. I mean, the shape from below is interesting, okay? Is this an interesting building shape? I kind of dig it. I mean, potentially, if we want to make this really interesting, we could... What if we just cut this out and then just got it going down? And that can just be an entrance into our building. That looks cool. Now we need to bring this across. This is the most interesting building frame I think I've ever made. So we'll get that going down, and then these will be the support pillars. Do we want support pillars? We didn't even have support pillars on the other side, right? It's just floating in the air. Fantastic. The architects the structural engineers among you can tell me whether this building is structurally sound or not. All right, that's that part done. Now, how do we do this part? This just goes down, fine. And then it goes across, and then it goes up here to meet. And that's just open entranceway. And I guess these buildings can just be out in the open. They don't need rainproofing, do they? And that's our frame done on both sides. We just need to link this side up. Now we can remove this sharpness over here by putting a triangle. Let's give it something different on both sides. That looks a lot better. Removes that sharpness. And we need to frame this section as well. So we can frame it using the flat bit or the not flat bit. Probably do the flat bit. And then we can do one more frame over here. All right, that's the frame of our building done. What do we think of that? That looks freaking crazy. But I like it. I think I like this. All right, let's figure out what we're going to do for the rest. So where there's a beam, we should probably put verticals down to make it make a little bit more sense. Now over here, we can do billboards, I guess, on this one. And then we can do a window here, and then a window here, and then billboards. I think that's how we're going to fill this wall. I feel like I want to give this a slightly different shade of color to all our buildings. Why don't we try the copper finish? Let's just try it on one wall in case it looks disgusting. I don't mind this. It's like brown. Gives a third color to our buildings. Breaks it all up a little bit. All right, let's get some billboards in here. See what that looks like. There's our billboards in. I'm going to go steal a pattern from somewhere. And there we go. Now we just need to put in our double ramps to cut the billboard up. Need my upside down ramp. Upside down ramp is annoyingly in a different section of my foundations. Put in that copper finish and see how that looks. That looks like a decent wall, doesn't it? Alright. Windows over here. We'll use hex windows, I guess. I love using full proper turns and stuff. That way our windows clip perfectly in here and we don't have to do any weird stuff like with half foundations and things. That looks pretty sick. That's an entranceway, so we just got to mirror this on the other side. Get that going up. So this is window. And this side is billboard. Now this one's a little bit different to the other side, isn't it? But we'll see how that looks. I realized I forgot to put the billboards on the inside. Gotta do the inside billboards. As the inside billboard's done, let's get that pattern in. Now we can cut this wall. Let's see how to cut this wall. That looks okay. We can cut it like this. How does that look for a wall shape? That looks alright. I think I like this. What do we think of that as a wall? I like it. Now I can do something cool for the back over here. What are we thinking? Don't need to do anything super complex. We can do diagonals, obviously. But to copy the style that we've once done, why don't we do diagonals and not close it off? Like this. It would be like a semi-open factory. Surprisingly, that worked out perfectly. Now let's get some stuff in here. So we add some triangular ramps on the inside over here. I think that could look pretty cool. And we can just leave it as an open wall. Like we don't actually need to seal it. We'll have to do upside down ones over here. Okay, that's not what I wanted. Put it back on the default mode so it's a bit easier to build. This was a thing I did on my other factory in the power plant. I think it looks pretty cool. It's just like an open wall with nothing cutting into it. Let's do it, put the finishes in and see how that looks. So basically this stuff will be copper finish. And then I made the central one a white finish. Oh crap, I painted something in the background. I have no idea what I painted, but it's fine, we'll figure it out later. And yeah, that can just be the back wall, like nothing fancy in there. I think that's a pretty cool back wall. What do you guys think of this? I think that looks cool. We're gonna go with this style of factory that's like semi-open. And we gotta figure out something for this back wall now. I haven't even done the proper framing for this yet. I just realized I have a bit of a space issue with these machines because they obviously need some space for their belts. And I don't have any, I haven't left any space for the belts. Fantastic. 1, 2 tiles of space. Yeah. This is actually meant to be 1 more tile out. I'm gonna go fix that up. Came up with this interesting concept for the back wall. I don't know why I'm making it so complicated, but what if we just did ramps across all here? Like this. How do I make this meet properly? Like that as the back wall. And close it off like this. And then we can do like some glass in here. This glass is going to be interesting because it literally needs to fit flush against the wall. Something like that. It's a pretty cool wall, I think. Alright, so that's that side done. I think we're pretty committed with... Oh, does this need to exist then? That means we need to fix this wall up a bit. Unless we end it here, which is what I wanted to do, but end it with something else. We like our big metal pillars. What do we think of that? I think that looks cool. Let's just paint it all in and see if it actually looks cool or I'm just tripping. Do we like that? Looks a bit weird, doesn't it? I think we need to continue this thing over. Alright, let's just get billboards in. Looks a bit weird with the pillars. The transition doesn't look good. That's fine. We can get these in. We just need a pattern for this section because it kind of opens up really weirdly. Can we make diamonds? Does this big weird diamond thing look interesting or does it just look weird and horrible? What if this gets replaced by windows? Oh yeah. Much better. This weird diamond viewport that we made somehow, that I'm not going to be able to replicate on the other side. But we'll figure it out. I think that looks alright for a wall. So we've got both our walls in. We've got this side wall. We've got the back wall, which looks like this. And then we've got the front wall, which looks like this. I think that looks decent. Alright, cool. So I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side now. And then we'll go from there. I've got both sides of the walls in on the other side as well, and I've painted our entire building the copper finish. So now it's time to get the roofs in. Do something more interesting for the roofs. I mean, I can make this just glass as we normally do, but I mean, there's nothing really to see through here. So why don't we just make this roof not glass? We can do tar, or we can do a fix-it roof. What does a fix-it roof look like? We can still do the same shape where it juts out sort of on top. We'll probably have to start with one of these. Can we shift this down one? No. Fixer roof doesn't look that good. Roof material, what about a metal roof? That's got kind of an interesting texture to it, doesn't it? Let's try it out, no harm. How do we like the transition from here to the roof? Kind of alright, I don't really mind it. This glass just unanimously looks better than everything else. It's so annoying. Then everything just looks exactly the same because, yeah. Let's get these roof corners in and see how that looks. It's not horrible. I don't hate it. Kind of looks like an interesting roof. Now we do want glass for this section, so we will tile in some glass roof here. We're going to do our standard thing so that it offsets a little bit because we don't want it flush. We've got our helper foundation. We'll switch back to glass roof and we'll do our 4-meter roofs and we'll snap it to one of these points, which is this one. And get rid of our helpers. We can just get that going across here. I think that looks decent. Do the same thing on this side, I guess. So we'll get that going down here to create the snapping point. And then we'll just add our roof to the right point. Come on. Get rid of our helpers. And we'll get the glass going out this way. Now for this roof, see this roof, the machines are visible. So I don't quite want to do what I did there. So what we might do for this one is our standard glass floor frame. Tile it there. Bring a helper one over here and we'll tile it back this way. Get rid of these two and then we can put glass windows over the rest. We'll do 4-meter ones like this. Nothing complex. Not every single design needs to be hyper complex. You can do some simple stuff every now and then. Don't mind. Just trying not to be too repetitive with every single one of my designs. I don't like this glass roof here. I don't like this metal roof. I don't like it. I mean, I could just do glass as well. Or I could, since there's nothing there, we could do something like pillars. If we did metal pillars along here, we could offset it a little bit, like this. What if we did an offset like this? Does that look interesting, or does it just look weird? Does it give some texture to the roof? Kind of. Let's just continue it out and see how that looks. An alternate roof design for you guys. There we go. That looks kind of nice. The little offset and then the little beam like this. What do you guys think of this? That looks cool. It's sealed off there and then we've got glass everywhere else. That is okay by me. And I'm pretty happy with this factory. I think it turned out alright, eh? And it wasn't super complicated to build. And then we just have the refineries out in the open. I actually don't mind that. It looks kind of cool. The refineries are like the main feature of our building, right? It's an fuel making plant. All right, cool. So given that is done, let's see what it looks like from the inside of our factory. Like, how do you even get into this factory? Do we even need these floors over here? If we get rid of the floors over here, then that's just, the entrance is just straight into the refineries. And it's kind of like 2 buildings on either side of a refinery section. That also kind of looks cool. But I feel like they need to connect somehow, right? Like, it feels weird that they're just completely disconnected. If we want, this can be the entranceway, like that, and then we can put lights and stuff in and whatnot. That's fine. We've got the rough structure of our building. Before we continue any further, we should start hooking some of this stuff up to make sure it actually works. So I suppose we should start with our crude oil. Now, there's no point getting the pipe anywhere through the floor. So hold on. I should keep researching stuff, because I still don't have all my recipes now that we're finally going to hook everything up. We got alternate miner. Oh man, terrible recipes. Quick, give me the recipe that I want. Yeah, so these pipes should definitely go into the floor, right? Because these things are just going to be making our lovely purple goo. Is it alternate polymer resin? No, alternate heavy oil residue. That's the thing. So it goes 30 crude oil into 40 heavy oil residue. Okay. Before we do that, let's get the floors done properly as well. It's going to replace this stuff with coated concrete where I can see it. Let's create a walkway. And then underneath we'll do... I realize I sometimes neglect my floors and sometimes I do my floors. So I apologize for that. If I get too excited sometimes and forget I have to do the flooring. The flooring in this is particularly important because we need to figure out sort of how this plays with the different levels. Yeah, it looks better with the flooring now. All right, now the point is we need to get this recipe across. And then it only has one input, which is a crude oil. And I'm not going to do the pipe above ground. So we're definitely going to do this pipe underground. I'm going to add all the pipe holes. And we're going to get the pipes in. Now, to kind of denote this is an oil pipeline, I want to start coloring my pipes as well. Let's see how that looks. I guess we can just use the carbon steel finish. That should give it a nice black crude oil feel to it. Oh, the pipe holes are really hard to hit, but that looks cool. I think it looks nice with the black pipes. Now we can go underneath our subfloor and sort out that pipeline first. Now, since you've seen me do these pipelines in previous episodes, I'm not going to bore you with it. I'm just going to go ahead and set that up. All right, that pipeline is now in and connected to all of our machines. I've painted it all black for crude oil. So if you're wondering what's going on here and why it's coming back out the floor, this is the water tower. We're going to have to somehow water tower this to get it higher than the points they're going into the machines. Otherwise, they're not going to fill properly. So that's what we've done over here. Now that's going to come out here. So then this pipe needs to connect all the way back over there to where our crude oil is actually coming out. So I'm going to start building out this section. So we're going to have to bring it onto some sort of subfloor. So let's just figure out which subfloor level we need to extend out to get that to happen. I know my subfloors are kind of all over the place at this point. I think this main one is fine. I think that's pretty much close enough. We'll do one more maybe. One of these three is the normal one. That is the pure one, I believe. One of these two is the normal one. All right, let me just put some floor on here so that we're not building directly on the ground. There we go. Now we got it all lined up. Now, as soon as this thing... Oh god, I'm getting charged by bulls. It's still alive. What? I emptied a whole clip into this thing. I think they're dead. Now, it needs a little bit of room for a pump. So, we're going to make sure there's enough room for a pump. Let's chuck in the appropriate amount of power shards to get our 300 per minute that we need. Now, theoretically, we only need Mark 1 pipelines. I don't see a disadvantage of doing Mark 2 pipelines. So this is going to be our main thing. So I'm going to start building walls upwards to know where to put all my pumps. So Mark 2 pump has a head lift of 50 meters. So if we do 10 this way, that means every one of these needs basically the... every one of these is where the thing's going to go. So what we can do is start getting our pipes there. It'll be something like this. And I want my pipe hole to be kind of in the center of this. So we'll go back 2. Like that. And then in theory, if I put a pipe hole right in the center of this tile, just to make it easier to work with, I should be able to do a horizontal to vertical join like this. And it should be reasonably straight, I think. Fantastic. And now we can start putting in our pipes, our pump, sorry. So we can do a pump here and that should lift it up to there. And then now we've got a framework to continue this up into our main floor. Go on there. And then we need to probably do one more set of pumps. Yeah, we'll just do one more to be safe. I'd rather have more pumps. The pumps don't cost anything, they just cost energy, rather than have my liquid not properly coming into the floor. Just gonna put the foundation, the wall up one more tile so I know where this thing's gonna come out. So it's gonna come out right here. So we can do something like this, there, directly up, and now we've got our oil into our subfloor. Fantastic. Now once it's in our subfloor, it's just a simple matter of putting these stackable pipeline supports and then getting it all the way over. Now we could just use the roof, but I feel like later on I'm gonna be punished for that. I know that's what I've done for my water tower stuff over there, but the reason why you don't want to do that here is if you want to avoid the belts clipping with your pipes, you use the stackable pipeline supports. That way the belts will fit directly above and below your pipes. So I think I'm just gonna go with this design and not be super lazy. So we'll bring the pipes over, and then we're just gonna bring it all the way over and then connect it to that pipe over there. And when that's done, I'll come back and talk about it. Alright, so our oil tower is now online. As you can see over here, we've got it pumping. We've got all the power connected. I've painted my entire oil line black. It gets pumped all the way up here, and we can look at the flow rate here. Hopefully it gets our full 300 per minute or whatever. This one is unfortunately not pumping anything. Nope, it's working. Fantastic. And we'll just check the oil line together as we go back. Yep, oil is now coming through here. Fantastic. It's going to go all the way through. Had to get it to weave under these pipes over here, but then it just follows basically a nice straight line all the way back over to our water tower. And then hopefully it goes up and over these machines. And we're going to let that prime for a little bit, because my viewers say that if you want, before you turn on the machines, just let them all prime with material. I don't think they go into here, but at least the pipes should prime into here. It'll take a while for that to fill up, I guess, but we'll just let that do its thing. I don't think there's any issues with the piping, so we'll just move on to the next step. The next step being these machines over here. We need to make our canisters. Oh, damn it, we can't make our canisters. Great. Well, the next two things that we need to do is water. Well, one thing. We just need a water pipe for 600 water per minute going into these packages that's going to package our water. So we're going to make packaged water here. Let's just copy these settings across and start getting the pipeline for that working. So the output is over here, but the input is over here. Now, what is the best way to do the input for this piping? It seems to be in line with this, so we might as well just get it all into one pipe. I don't mind that. Let's give it a go. I believe this is the correct height. I'm just going to test it with one. Yeah, I believe that's the right height. Let's see if there's enough distance here for this thing to do its thing. Yeah, that should be fine. We'll just do this. So we'll set up our pipes like this. I've decided my water pipe's color is going to be white, because I just don't like blue. Blue looks really obnoxious, and water is like the most thing that we pipe to most of our machines. So we're going to leave the water pipes white by default, and I think that looks pretty nice. And for all our other material, we can give it some color if we deem the color is necessary. Kind of like making dashboards and reports. You don't add extra color when it doesn't do anything. Let me just clean up this pipe a bit, because we don't want multi-join pipes where it's not necessary. And here as well. And that's the end, so we'll get that going out like that. I realize I haven't done any power for any of this stuff, so we might need to put some beams somewhere, but that's fine. We can add those at the very end. But that should get water in, so let's figure out how to do water. And in the meantime, I need my ma'am to be giving me some more recipes. I hope I was analyzing a hard drive. Give me the recipe. Charcoal and pink diamonds. Wow, there's still so many recipes I don't have. Anyway, it'll take more than 10 minutes for me to set up the water. So here, the water basically goes out there. So we need a wall hole. Ah, this is a foundation, not a wall. Great. How am I going to manage this? Well, we can just change these two bits. Two walls is one option. Use fix-it wall so it's not as crazy looking. Now we can give the walls a copper finish so they look reasonably color matching to our actual building. Now with that, we should be able to now put in the wall hole. I believe it goes there. One of these two. There we go. There's our wall hole. Now the other wall hole goes here, I believe. Get that through there. Rebuild this wall. Give it the finish. All right, now our wall hole comes out here, but we need to water tower this as well. So we need to do like, we'll get it up here, I guess. And then we'll get that into the floor. I believe it should line up with this floor hole. There's just 2 tiles out. It's very hard to align this. I think it goes here. That's my guess anyway. And then this can go up here. And we can give it a little bit of a height difference and do that as the water tower. I think that looks pretty cool. What do we think of that? I don't mind that. Cool, so that's gonna water tower the water into there, and then we got the water under the floor now, so we can go into our subfloor and then get a water pipe going here, which means we need another water pipe. And not only do we need another water pipe, we need a clear line for the water to get to here. Okay. I'm gonna try to figure that out, and when I do, I'll come back and talk about it. Alright, so instead of pulling the water from all the way on the other side of the world where all our water towers are, I decided to just set up some water extractors here where our water source is. Unfortunately, all of this water over here that would have been really convenient to use is all just jabate water because it's not deep enough to do anything. But there's actually like a river here, and then it actually forms into a lake over there. So this can be like a secondary sort of water source. We can definitely get a few pipes of water out off this lake if we need to get water onto this side of the factory. So I'm just doing some janky piping. Anything underneath outside my factory doesn't count, so I'm not going to waste time trying to clean all that up. But basically we're running this water pipe all the way across with a couple of pumps up through here, and then that's going into that water tower we built earlier. So we're getting power through the floor a little bit jankily as well. We'll try to figure out a better way to get power in a bit when we have power to the main factory area, but at the moment we don't have power here yet, so I've just temporarily borrowed some power to test all this is working. Let's check on our crude oil pipeline. So yes, this top bit is filled, and as long as this top bit is filled, all of these machines will be filled. We can test that by showing that all of these little bits and bobs are completely filled, and when that water gets pumping, it should theoretically do the same thing. Why is this not doing stuff? So we'll look at our pumps and pipes. That one's filled. Is it just taking its sweet time, or is there just not enough head lift there? Why are you yellow? Flow rate is at nothing. Head lift is 55 meters. Oh, this is slightly not enough head lift. Amazing. Okay. Gotta get a second one in somewhere. Probably just put it into the subfloor here. We'll just put one right here, and that should be okay now. Just go in and double check. That now pumps all the way over the top. Fantastic. That should get all our water in there. Unfortunately, 10 minutes hasn't passed yet, so I don't have still don't have my recipe yet. 20 seconds. Alright, the hard drive is done. I feel it. This is the one, guys. This is the one. This is the one we need. And it is. Look how many we scanned. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we got our coated iron canister just in time. Perfect. Oh, you know I'm not cheating. You know, there is an option to just enable all alternate recipes in the thing, but I think I'm pretty close to getting all my alternate recipes anyway, that I don't really care. I'm actually going to keep scanning hard drives in case later on there is more alternate recipes that I need. There's still quite a few I don't have yet. Alright, great. So our water is in here. Obviously, the water's not going to be doing anything until we get 1 power to this thing and 2 canisters. So now that we have the recipe, we can start making our coated canisters here. Coated iron canister. It takes iron plate and copper sheet, both materials we have. So let's set that recipe now. Getting there, guys, getting there. This is a very complex recipe, and we've got an assembler pattern here to set up. So let's get cracking on that. I think we'll just go with our standard assembler pattern. I know there's a little bit of clipping involved in that, but I don't really mind it that much. Our standard assembler pattern is this. We just do that. Oh, we actually don't need to. We've got plenty of space here. We can do it without clipping. We'll get our splitters in here. Now, do we want the material to come in from this side or this side? Probably this side. Because I know one of our materials is in the factory next door. There's all our belts in. Done. Nice and easy. Now we've got to do the underneath one. So we're going to do it somewhere where there's no clipping. Same thing probably there. I remember when I built my original factory, building on the floor was a big no-no, but it's not a really big problem in our new factory designs because, one, we're flying. Oh no, I did all this in the wrong spot. Damn it. One, we're flying around all the time instead of walking, so we don't really need to clear the floor area. And secondly, we are creating our factories with a lot of extra spacing. So we technically don't need to clear the floor spacing as much anymore. All right, there's all the inputs to our assemblers done. Now we just need to get it through the floor. I believe it's there and there. And that will get it. Oh, that's one off. There we go. That should get it through the floor now. Let's go have a look at what that looks like. I know the belts are going to hang through underneath here, but I don't mind that. That looks cool. I just need to be able to line this up somehow. It's kind of on the corner of this one. So here, I believe, and this one is one off the corner of this one. So like here, then. Yep, that's looking good. Let's just get it pointed this way. And one of them, oh, this one I missed. So get it out one more. And get that going down as well. And there we go. And that doesn't look too bad. I don't mind lifts coming out from underneath the building. We'll do something underneath here like pillars or something at some point, but for now we'll just leave it. Now we need to go into the subfloor and actually connect these materials up. So let's just do copper first. I don't even know where our copper sheets are at the moment or what the dealios with them is. This is our copper sheets. Okay, we've sent them into the thing and they're all continuously producing. I'm sure we've done some sort of smart splitting mechanism here, which is this thing. The overflow is going that way and the main flow is going out that way. So we can just get that into the floor over here. Really need to create a subfloor access over here somewhere because there is no way to access the subfloor. This lines up really nicely. I'm just going to bring it across and see which one it lines up best to. One of these two. Okay. So we'll do this one this way. And we'll just get that doing a slight turn. I'm okay with that. And that's nice and easy. One of our two materials is done. Our second material is iron plate. So we haven't set up iron plate at all. So we're going to have to go over there and do that now. We've set up the buildings for iron plate, but we haven't set up any of these buildings to output material into a box and all the smart splitting mechanics and all that stuff for it. So we're going to have to set all that up now. This is our iron plate. So the first thing that we need to do is actually link the outputs of both iron plate things. And it comes out here, so we can bring it down, I guess. Let's see how that might look. Looks terrible and very hard to do the floor holes on. I've linked the floor hole on this level, so let me just repaint this. Oh, this floor is so hard to work with. Gotta paint this in chrome every time I delete the floor and re-add it. So now our output for the second level of iron plate is going down to the first level. And we can see on our first level, the floor hole comes out of the light. Excellent. Is that essentially a deal breaker? Yes, because I can't see anything. All right, great. Let me just add the floor hole like where I actually want it probably. Which is probably around, maybe just do it on the edge here. I'm gonna have to redo the thing again. So there. Make sure it's going the right direction because I want this coming out here somewhere. And then we need another merger. Then we'll get it going out this way. Doesn't really matter which way we get it going out. Like that. And then this is the actual output, right? So we need to get that going up. Put the roof back in. And then we'll get that going out here. Like that. And that should get the iron plate going down to the first level. On the first level, these two should now be merged together. Now we need to do it into a storage system, smart splitter system, and sink. So let's see if we can fit all that out here, or do we need to like maybe put something out there? Now I like the idea of the storage system being over here. Let's see if we can fit it in here. That way we don't have to come into the buildings to get our stuff like here, right? Oh, nope, on the ground, but we want it sticking out the wall like this. Maybe make it look more intentional and come out halfway through this bit, maybe? Oh, it's so hard to place. Let me just delete this. I basically want it flush against the wall, like this. Maybe one tile out, so that when I put the wall back in, it doesn't look like it's disappeared. How does that look? That looks pretty cool, right? And just this way we can just access it very easily. And we can add a dimensional depot above here like this. And then if we just do that. What do we think of that? That looks kind of cool, right? That way our storage is built into our wall. And now we need to bring this into storage, which we can do via the ceiling or whatever way. But before we bring it out into storage, we need to smart splitter it. This is going to go into the smart splitter. And then the overflow is going to go into storage. But then before we overflow it out, we need to... might turn the smart splitter. Get it going out this way. Oh wait, it doesn't matter. There's 3 outputs to the smart splitter. So we'll get the... Just trying to think. The main output can just go into the floor over here. That's fine. That way that can be used for stuff. Then this is going to be the first overflow output. And then the overflow output needs to be into another smart splitter. Because the main output is going to be... We'll do the overflow this way. And then the main output is going to be this way. And this is now going to go into here. And I think that looks okay. I mean, we can elevate it off the ground like that. And there's the output for the storage. It's the overflow of this. And then the secondary overflow is going to now go into a sink. So we can put the sink all the way in the back here. Make sure it doesn't clip into anything weird. It rests nicely on the wall. We can bring it out one, I guess. As long as it doesn't poke out the wall, I'm okay with that. And then that can go out like that. And we'll make the left the overflow. And this can be none. We're going to power the sink. Where's my power? There's no power on this side. There is power. It's up here. We'll make this slightly cleaner by adding a secondary power thing over here somewhere. In this corner. And we'll power that like this. And that looks decent, doesn't it? That's passable. I don't mind that. Now we've got iron plate as well. And we've got iron plate into our dimensional storage, which doesn't really matter at this point in the game since I'm not turning on building materials yet. You gotta get this facing the right way. Attention to detail. There we go. That looks pretty good. I like that. And now we can access our iron plate from out. Well, for ease of use, if you need to access the material for whatever reason, you can now grab it from the outside of the building instead of having to go inside. Fantastic. Now we've got our iron plate out here. And we've got our main iron plate going through the floor. So we can go into the subfloor now and try to link that over to our factory. So this is where the iron plate is going to go. Let's figure out where it is. Going to be a little bit weird. It's over here. So we'll bring it along the floor then, because mostly it's a horizontal movement. And remember when we're moving, I say horizontal, I call this vertical. When we're moving east-west, we go along the floor. So let's just take this along the floor so there's no belt clipping. We're almost there. Now at some point we need to raise it to the ceiling, so I'm going to bring this over this way. And then we're going to bring that belt straight along the ceiling because this one's going north-south. And then that's going to go there. And I think I've got it perfectly. Nope, one off. It literally needs to go to the center, I think. And that should be perfect. And that should go straight in there. And now we've got iron plate going into there. And that's feeding our canister maker. Great. I think we're making canisters using the cheapest material possible because doing 300 plastic for this little procedure seems like a little bit ridiculous. So hopefully that's all going to be working now. So to test it out, we're going to need power. So where is our power bar going to go is the interesting question. We can't just do it directly above where the power is. So we'll grab one of these, probably like one more this way, and then we'll make it 10 meters tall, I guess, so it doesn't clip into anything. Yeah, that looks decent to me. I'll do it from this side. So I'll do it from this line. 10 meters tall. Grab a clipping point, and then we'll meet it into the middle there. Now, theoretically, we should just be able to bring power from all of these machines directly onto this power bar. Building this entire factory manually has been very fun. Not. Alright, connected all the power to the bar. Now I'm just going to connect all the stuff in between the bars. And that's it. That's all the 10 machines connected to the bar. Now we need to bring it out of the factory. So like here, doesn't really matter where we bring this, does it? We'll just do a straight line, like around there. And then we've got to bring it out into the world, somewhere here. Doesn't really matter where because it's clipping through a wall, so we can't really see it. And then from here, we need to bring it across somewhere here. Where's a good place to bring power out of here? I feel like if we do something like this, then we can get that going across here. And how's that height looking? That looks alright. Try to get it straight. So it's along this line, which is basically the center point, right? Random power lines going across my factory. And then from here, we can just bring it in anywhere. And from here, we need to figure out where we can connect it to. Where is our power lines in this factory? I don't see any power lines in this factory. It's connected to these power beams. I guess we can get the power beams onto the wall. Like here. Nope. Oh, this is the jankiest power connection I've ever done. Like say here. And then we'll get it across from here. Oh, these power lines are ruining the aesthetics of my factory. We can always hide the power lines underneath the floor if it really becomes an issue. But I suppose this is okay. It's just one power line going across here. I don't mind it too much. Or do we like absolutely hate that? We should just get the power from here. Yeah. I don't like it. I don't like the power lines going across here. It's ruining the aesthetics of two factories. Better off just taking the power from this side. So if we get the power line going from here to say somewhere in this wall, that I think will look a lot better. And then if we replace that with a double power point, I think that will look a lot cleaner. What do you guys think of that? Now, of course, we need to connect the power from here down to here somewhere. So we just get a double power wall going into this thing, and then we can somehow run the power through there. Try to get it as straight as we can, and then we'll go into this building and get power. So there it is. And where is the nearest power point here? I guess we'll just get it onto the power bar. That'll do. Speaking of power, how is our power going? I don't have any power connection to check how our power is going. That's fine. I have faith that our power is good. Let's just validate that theory. Yeah, we're still generating 150,000 megawatts of power, and we're barely consuming 17,000 megawatts at the moment. So I think we're good on power for a little while, which is great because I don't have any plans to expand my power infrastructure anytime soon. I thought I was going to go for nuclear power, but it's going to be a while. First, we need to build our alien power augmenters, and then we can get our nuclear power going. But check it out. Our copper sheets are now flowing, and so are our iron plates. So they should all flow into here, and that should start making canisters. Everything is making canisters now, and the canisters can now flow into here. How I'm going to flow that into there, you ask? Directly. Look at that. Beautiful. Follows the contour perfectly. And I think these belts are really beautiful, so we don't need to hide them or anything. And check it out. That factory is looking amazing. So we've got canisters going into each one of these. Each one of these demands 60 canisters per minute. Each one of these should be producing 60 canisters per minute. Fantastic. All the maths checks out. Now this thing needs power. The power connections for this is really high up. So I can do a beam really high up, or I can just do a beam over here, I think is probably better. So we'll do it from here as well. Get it going up 10 meters. Good distance. Pull that beam all the way across. Now we got a point to start from here, 10 meters up, and get those beams to meet and become friends. Perfect. Realize I haven't been putting in my beam connectors. Got to put in the little details, you know, make everything look nice. There we go. All the beam connectors are in, and now we just do the power. Doesn't look too bad. Connect all the power across the beam, and we'll connect the beam across here. Like this. And just connect that into there. And that should get power to all of these machines. I think one of my things is missing a recipe. No power. Did I miss a line here? There we go. They've all got power, and now we are making packaged water. Fantastic. So that's most of our materials ready. We of course need to get power to these machines, and we've got to deal with the polymer resin coming out of here. So let's start with the polymer resin. We'll just get it going up like this, and then we'll shove a sink somewhere. I'm sure we've left enough room for a sink. Get a merger going out this way, I guess. Doesn't really matter which direction we take it. There's all our mergers in, and then we just get belts. Now we need to add a sink somewhere. Hopefully it fits nicely here. Oh god, these sinks are so fat. Okay, maybe it doesn't fit at the end of here. That's a bit annoying. Where am I going to fit this sink? On the roof? We can just put it outside, I guess. Let me get rid of this, and then maybe it'll make sense where the sink goes. Out of everything, I've not got enough room for an awesome sink. Great. You can always hide a sink underneath the floor, but try to avoid that if I can. If all else fails, we can always just put the sink outside. Doesn't really matter. Then we can just bring a thing out this way, face that into there, and then we'll get a belt going like that. I don't mind that. Looks fine. A little bit of machinery outside. Remember, this is meant to be closed. Alright, so that's the waste material dealt with. Now we need to deal with the actual output that we care about. Now we can direct pipe this into here, but like I said before, because it's going upwards, I have no faith that this thing can do the lift that it requires. And what would a pipe like that even look like? If it could do the lift that it requires, it would look like that. I didn't line these up with the pipes either, so okay, we're definitely not going to do that. We'll do it properly. We'll set up a pipe system along here, and we'll lift it up properly. Let's see what that might look like. Give it plenty of room. Why am I doing the pipes here? I'm silly. I can just run the pipe along the floor. So we can just do something like this. Bunch of junctions. And we'll connect the pipes in all the junctions. And then this pipe is going to somehow go up there to, we'll need to pump it. So it's going to like come out maybe here. And then it'll somehow go upwards over here. And feed all of the pipes over here. So we'll set that up in a bit. But let's get this working first. So all of this is now working. We need to get some sort of power to them. Trying to figure out where the power line is. The power line is there, so we can get a beam going here. We'll do it from like, say, this halfway tile. And we'll get it going up 10 meters by default. Looks fine to me. And we'll just get that going across this way. And on this side, we'll do the same thing. 10 meters. Get the beams to be friends. Add some beam connectors. Let's get the power going now. Oh, it's so hard to see here. We'll just do it on this side then. That's fine. So I can see if it's straight or not. I can tell my autosaves are getting like a little bit laggy now. I think the game is finally struggling to keep up with the size of the factory. We'll get that going across. We need the awesome sink to have power as well. So I'm just gonna bring this power out. And that looks actually completely fine to me. So we'll just leave it like that. Now we need this entire beam to get power. So we'll run the power across somewhere. Now if I just run it directly across here, it's gonna look horrible, right? So I might need to run it to the wall and over. Run it through the ceiling and over. I don't know. You can run it to like here. That's kind of fine. And then we can run it across. Make it as straight as possible. Like that. And then we can run it down. Actually works out nicely. There we go. All our refineries are now powered on, and they will be making the lovely heavy oil residue. Fantastic. Alright, and the polymer resin should be dealt with, and now this pipe should be filling up with heavy oil residue slowly. And now we're on to the last step, which is taking the output of here and the output of here and pumping it up here. So let's get the pipe work and the lifts or splitters and mergers onto here done, and then we should get packaged fuel out. Fuel and empty canister. No, that is not the recipe that we want. We want the alternate packaged fuel. Don't tell me I did all this wrong. Oh crap. I have a thinking feeling I've done something wrong here because I don't see the packaged thing that I need. Alternate. It's produced in a refinery. Oh god. Alright, I've screwed this up royally. I thought this was done in a packager, it's done in a refinery. Well, this is going to change the design of our factory substantially, but I think I've left enough room. I think we're just going to have to change the design of this roof, but we should be okay. I guess we'll start by seeing how a refinery fits into here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's along this line over here. Why don't these lines look like they line up? Oh, they do. Just driven. So we want it to do something like that. Maybe one more across. And I suppose it does fit. I mean, I can put... The only thing that's coming out of the outside is the packaged fuel, so that just barely fits. This is sort of on the edge. It's going to be a little bit annoying to put in the pipes for, but we should be able to manage. Now let me just stick this up and see what we can do about the roof. I mean, kind of has the chimney sticking out a little bit, and the roof probably needs to be one taller. Let's just delete this glass and then see where we go from there. Oh, this glass is kind of hard to delete. So we get rid of that panel of glass. Now we've got our things sticking out the roof, which I kind of don't mind that. I feel like we need to elevate the roof one more tile up. So let's see how that would look. So we'd have to delete this row. That would have to go up one. I'm going to have to get rid of this part. And we'd probably have to get rid of most of this. Well, we'll have to rebuild this section, basically. I really like this roof as well. It's a shame. So we'll get rid of that one, and then we get rid of these ones as well, I think. We're going to have to elevate this entire roof, then we're going to have to do something about this. Now, I'm kind of a fan of keeping this shape, so let's see the minimal amount of destruction we can do here. And I'm thinking doing something like this. And then we'll just frame it, I think. I mean, this is fine. I think it covers... Oh, okay. So that would cover that, but what if I used a 1 meter foundation then? That just barely clears it. Bit of a hack job now at this point, but since we've already built most of this, I don't want to like re-engineer all of this. So then this part would actually be one of these with a triangle like that. Whoa, the heck was that? Then we got to figure out how we do this part. So we probably need more billboards here. Then I'm just gonna put in the colors and then figure out how this is gonna now tile. Like that, and then we'd probably just do some sort of upside down triangle probably. I think that'll do. Do we need... Wait, we do need that. I think this is okay. This is not like horrible. The shape looks a little bit awkward, but we do need this row as well to get this back wall working. Let's color it in and see if it doesn't look that bad, hopefully. It's just this clipping over here that's a little bit weird, but I think that looks fine. It actually creates a pretty interesting shape. Now, in terms of this, we need to do something about these ramps, because while it is nice to be mostly open, I don't want it fully open. So let me just put in a glass there, and then we'll just tile that across. Oh, clips a little bit into the pipes, but I'm okay with that, I guess. This doesn't even meet the top bit for some reason. What? How do I get it to clip to the bottom of this? That's weird. I want it to be like here, maybe. And then what if, if I use a different elevation or incline of ceiling, would that help? So like a 2 meter one, like there. No, that doesn't work. We'd have to do that. Which, honestly, I don't really mind that. It doesn't look too bad. You can do something like that, and then the chimneys can stick out. Am I missing an entire refinery here? Or do I have an extra one here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, missing one here. That actually looks alright. Worked out nicely. We've got some cool chimney stacks coming out this side now. Also need to do the same thing on this side. Now we'll put some windows down this side too. The only thing we lost was our cool little design with the pillar roof. But, oh well. At least we didn't have to fully redesign everything. That would have been tragic. Let me just fix this up. Fix up this wall. And then we'll fix up this last beam and we should be sweet. For finishing. Oh, I think I'm missing one upside down triangle. And there we go. That's all cleaned up now. And it doesn't look too terrible. It looks a little bit weird. Especially this like little back bit. This back bit looks a little bit tacked on. But I think once I put the pillars underneath, it should look okay. But we'll leave that for now. Let's get everything working first. So one big challenge we're going to have is now doing the piping for this. So how would pipe even fit in here? Oh, that's kind of cool. Doing it on the slant. I kind of like that. I want to see if this works. Because there is still a little bit of uphillness to it, but hopefully it's not too bad. Should just check the recipe actually exists here. There you go. Alternate diluted packaged fuel. That's the one we want. Let's put all the recipes in. And then let's get the pipes in. Alright, so the pipes are in now. I just need to push this upwards now. So it's going to go up like this somehow. I mean, this diagonal is kind of cool. But maybe we should just drag this pipe out then. Line it up with this. It doesn't like to be on this diagonal. This pipe just is in this really weird, awkward spot. Just this bit looks a bit kinked, but otherwise it looks fine to me. So we can probably get this going as horizontal to vertical maybe. What about the other way? That looks okay. I think that's as good as we're going to get this pipe. Now we do need a pump here, because there is some head lift to be made up for here. So hopefully that pump should be enough to get everything going. Now because this liquid is purple, let's make this pipe purple. Actually, I want to leave this pipe unpainted for now. We'll paint it at the very end in case I need to make modifications to it. But the last thing that we need to deal with is the material that's coming out of here needs to go over here somehow. Oh look, these things don't line up. What? Okay, I think I need to shift to this window set to match this one. Otherwise it looks weird. An easy fix. Anyway, it's alright, got distracted. So yes, the materials from here, which is the packaged water, which is a solid, needs to come out this way. So let's get the output in. Obviously it can't face itself, it needs to face outwards. Now we need to get this out this way. Merge all the outputs that way. Doesn't really matter which way we go. Oh, I missed one. Then we get our belt in. Anyone feeling thirsty? There's all our bottles of water. They look so cool. Fix it bottled water. Alright, so now once they've come out here, they need to go to the other side somehow. And they're definitely going to go out like here somewhere. I'll figure out a good path for it, but whatever the path is going to be, it's going to merge in this way. This one can face this direction, that's fine. Alright, that's all the lifts in. Let's get the splitters in. So the material is going to come from this direction. And finally, we just get the belts in. So we basically just need the belt to go from here to here. So let's get one going out here somewhere first. They are like the same height, but that height is not good. Maybe we bring it down to the ground floor first. Okay, maybe we bring it out a little bit first. Why is this not happy? That's not happy either. Okay, do something like that, and then we bring it to the ground floor. Then from the ground floor, we should be able to figure out how to do this connection. Just bring it out like here. Oh yeah, that's not tall enough. That's fine. We can probably wall conveyor it somehow. So it's against this floor. We have like never used a wall conveyor in our entire lives. That's too low. Using all our logistics powers now. And we can do another wall conveyor like say here. And the belt goes over the entranceway, which is, I don't really care about that. That's fine with me. And in theory, we just need to lift this to the ground, and then that should be done, right? Just like that. And off the bottled water it goes. So we've got bottled water, and we've got this stuff, which seems to be all pumped through perfectly fine. I'm seeing full capacity everywhere. That means we just need to turn these on. Fantastic. So the power is over this side. So we just need some sort of power bar that goes across here. Let's sort out the outputs for this before we do the power bar, because that'll probably inform how we do the power bar. Everything becomes a little bit tight. And thank God we left a bunch of room when we designed this thing, so we don't have to like punch out the wall an entire tile or anything like that, because that would have been a nightmare to rebuild. Where is this going to go? This packaged fuel. I guess it can go out this side. That way the awesome sink is there, so we'll go out this side. Alright, with that in, we can do our power bar. So we can just start it from here, I guess, and then we'll just go up 10 meters, that's fine. We'll go across, and then we'll do the same thing on this side. We'll go up 10 meters. Maybe we can go a bit closer. No, we'll do, yeah, we'll do it a bit closer. Oh, that's not 10 meters. Just deleting random stuff now. There's 10 meters, and that should touch nicely. Get our beam connectors in. And then we can do the power. Is our power all done? Let's hook all that up. Now we need to connect this power into the main power system. So that's going to go from somewhere here over to this side, like such. And it goes through the machine a little bit, but so be it. And we'll connect it like that. Now they all have power, and we are making packaged fuel. Fantastic. And they're all flowing out through here. And now our factory finally has fuel. Oh no, forgot about the output here. That's all right, we can amend this a little bit. We'll just get the beam going into the wall here. That makes the most sense. No, we don't need a beam connector. Now, with this fuel output, we've got to figure out what we want to do with it now. So before we do anything with this, we probably want to smart splitter it, or we should do the smart splitting underneath. So let's get it through the floor first. Go see where that is. Why isn't any of my polymer resin being created? Right, because our fuel is all backed up, right? Well, we'll have to see when the fuel is being destroyed what it looks like. Now over here, I want to add a merger. That way I can get my fuel in here too. So the fuel is coming out here. I'm just going to add a lift. And then I'm going to put a smart splitter here. This is the main fuel line. It's going to go into the ground, right? Into our subfloor. So we can add a floor hole there for it. Like that. And now we've got our main fuel out, but then we want to destroy the excess fuel. So let's bring it out to the edge of our factory over here, like that. Then we can add a lift that goes up and over, and a lift over here that meets it. And then that can just link like that. We've got to set this thing to overflow. So it's coming out from this merger. So the right hand side is now going to be overflow. And in theory, all of that fuel should now be getting destroyed. Now, only 600 fuel per minute comes out of here, and I think only 200 per minute of polymer resin come out of here. So even if everything is being destroyed in the sink, we should still be okay. Yeah. Why are you idle? No heavy oil residue. It's not flowing. Why? Ah, because this thing's not powered, of course. There we go. Now with the pump powered, everything should work, I think. give that a minute to come online and start working, and I can just test that everything is working before we start decorating the rest of our factory. What do we think of the look of the factory though? I think it looks pretty cool. It turned out to be this really wacky organic design, but I like this nice little open area. I think we definitely need skirting on like the entire roof section, and we've got to figure out what kind of skirting to put in. So for stuff like along here, we might just do rails for the interior. And we can do rails here, I think. That looks a bit better. Well, it's barely visible, but I think that looks a bit better. The next thing that we should probably do is some sort of skirting along here. Now, you can't do skirting on here because there's no thing that goes on here. So, unfortunately, because of the curves that we have, if we want to give this thing a border, it'd be like this. See how this factory has this black border? So we'd have to draw a border using beams along the entire edge, but I think it'll make the factory look nicer and give it a much more polished feel. Because the edges are a little bit too smooth for my liking at the moment. Yeah, that definitely adds a bit of interesting geometry to it. And we'll even do the entranceway. That looks much nicer. It's got a lot of detailing now. And it's a bit of work, but it's not too much to do. Now we've got to put in all of the beam connectors to make all these transitions nice and smooth. We'll just slap beam connectors on all of these sections. Yeah, that gives the building a nice sharp outline, which is pretty nice. We can do the same thing going across this way if we wanted to. Do we want to do the bottom here and frame the whole thing? Probably. We'll definitely need to do the other side, and then we can decide if we want to frame the whole thing across this way as well. I don't think we need to, actually. I think it looks fine the way it is. So I'm going to do this side now. So hopefully that doesn't take too long and looks pretty nice. Alright, that's this side of the building done. I think the last thing that we just probably need to add in is a little bit of lighting. So we can add LED strips to the outside, but what I was thinking more of was probably just highlight the entranceways. So using these billboards, let's highlight the entranceways first. Is that sticking out of anything? Kind of, but looks fine. I mean, that's nice. Now, what I was thinking of doing is, what if we highlight this entire inside border? Make this open thing a lot more deliberate, if that makes sense. Because we can't have any lighting in this. I don't think there's anywhere to put ceiling lights in this build. So we'll just use these to do the lighting. We'll just do it on both sides. Oh, this side's one's hard to put in. So like this, a strip along here. And doesn't that look awesome? I think that looks pretty cool. There is nowhere I can really add lighting inside, right? I can do one LED strip on this side. This side is going to be super tight. I mean, I theoretically could do it underneath here, but that would look terrible, I think. So I think we'll just skip on the lighting for this building. And we'll just do LED strips like this. Now, we could do LED panel along here, but it's not going to be emissive lighting, so I don't think I'm going to bother with it. I can probably fix this part now as well. Put a 10-meter beam here. And get that going across. Okay, I think that interior and exterior is done. I can see everything here is green, so it's continuously producing fuel. As is all of these. See, these are not going to be green because we're overproducing the heavy oil residue. We only need 300 per minute, but I think these 10 are producing 400 per minute, but that's fine. I'm okay with that. And obviously these water packages are perfectly fine, producing all of their water. And yeah, we're having no issues at all, I don't think. All of these water packages should be running full time. Fantastic. And all that excess fuel is currently just being sunk. But obviously, we're going to start using that for our truck stops in a future episode. What else are we missing for this factory? Just some signage. Let's put the signage up and we'll well, almost left no room for the signage. Put the signage up and update the signage on all of the other areas as well. So we're using 1/3 of our iron plate for canisters. We can put up a sign over here. So we're outputting 600 fuel, and I don't think anything uses packaged fuel, but they'll be used up by our truck stops in an unknown amount. It's never going to tell me like what it's going to be used as. We'll put a packaged fuel icon there, and our background is purple. Perfect. We'll go update the copper usage. So we're using 150 for the canisters. So we'll have 1050 available. And there it is. Our fuel factory is completed. This nice, cool, open design. I don't think there's anything else I really want to add to it. We could do LED strips, but I don't really see anywhere I can put them that doesn't make it look just tacky and added on. I think it looks fine without the LED strips. It's got a little bit of purple, and the whole building is kind of coppery purple color, so let's not add any more to it. I think it looks fine. I really like this back feature wall. It looks pretty cool, and I don't think there's anything else I want to add to it. Everything is functionally perfectly fine. These pipes look great on the entranceway. I think it looks very interesting. I think if anything we need to add to this is like maybe like a walkway system to get around, because it is a little bit tight to get in and under these things, but I think it's fine, honestly. I remember what we need to add. This floating bit looks a bit weird. We need some pillars underneath here, so let's add some pillars. It's this tile here, so it's this tile. Why am I having such trouble figuring out what tile is directly underneath here? We don't even need a pillar in between. We just need to like put the support in like this. That's a cool support. Look at that. That's awesome. Put one in the back over here, and then we'll put a couple along here, I think. That'll really tie the build together so it doesn't look like this building is just floating in midair. Oh, it's really hard for me to visually see where these go. There and there. Then we'll do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Arbitrary 5 tiles in and put that there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over here. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Now the building looks like it's standing on something, so it doesn't look like it's just floating in midair. Then we'll do something similar on the other side. The other side is a little bit taller, so it needs probably an actual pillar support. But it'll be this tile over here, which I believe is this one. Actually, no, it's the same height. Right, that's fine. Well, that makes it nice and easy. I knew I forgot one thing. There we go. There's one, and then we'll go 1. Can't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stop lagging autosave. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there we go. That's all done. Now our building has support and looks a lot better. That's a cool looking building. I like that. It's definitely a distinctive shape from all our other buildings so far. So mission accomplished to try to make our buildings look a little bit different from one another. I really like this open section in the middle. I think that looks pretty cool. So we'll leave it there. Our base now has fuel, and we're going to do stuff with that fuel next episode. If we want to look at our base as a whole, our city's definitely coming along. We've made some really decent progress. I'm really starting to get that city vibe from this whole thing. We're just adding blocks. Like, check this place out from like a distance. It's actually looking pretty cool. But still plenty to do next episode. So if you don't want to miss out, don't forget to leave a like and sub, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.